over explaining how to do certain things or use certain objects, items, and things. Some of them I feel like I'm just learning myself. So, for example, the pen has been really difficult for me, especially this part. I've got the grip down, but like when we have to move to the top, like that part confuses me still. So we're gonna be learning together. Also this thing. But anyway, okay. Where should we start? I'm gonna start actually with something I haven't shown you quite yet. This apparatus. So the first thing that I want to show you about this is actually that these two pieces that if you pull, you see how they move, and you can actually take them right apart. And they make a good sound. So let's try. Whoops, I just squirted water out of it. Okay, so let's just try this. Okay, let's try it one more time. Okay, so you see that? How when you pull, so that's like that, yeah, okay. You can also then, to get it back together, you just have to push this into there, and then you can press this part down. So pressing is like applying force to that. Yeah, okay, so that's good. One other thing that you can do when you're pressing this part together, you can place your thumb, which is this one, over here, and then you can use these two fingers on this part. So you can have, if we have it like that, you can hold it like this, and then you can do it with one hand instead of needing to use two hands. You can then use just one hand, see? So it makes it easier to do. Next, and we'll go over lids later. I don't want to go over that quite yet. I'm just gonna need some water here. So I have this little thing. I just took the lid off, but we'll get to the lids later. I don't want to overwhelm you. So what we're gonna do is we have this little thing that sticks out very far. We need to put this inside because it needs to have water touching this part to suck up the water into the device. So we're going to put that so that it is touching the water inside of there. And then we're going to do the same thing that we did before. So we're going to pull back on this top section. So not on the whole thing, but just this top part, okay? And then you see now that there is water inside of it. You see it wiggles around. That's how you can tell that it is successfully gotten water inside of it. And then to get the water out, you are going to do that pressing motion that we tried before, okay? So this device is actually interesting. This is not a device, but this device is interesting. Okay, but this one. So because if you see the water is up to here, so when we place this inside, this can barely reach the water here, so it'll only be able to suck up a certain amount of water before this starts to fill. As you can see, it won't fill anymore because now the device is not reaching the water. So you actually have it like more accessible than this. So that was good for that demonstration. And now we're gonna get, I have actually another container here. This container here, which we'll go over the lids again later, but I'm just gonna fill it up with some water first. Do you want to go over the lids later? Okay. Yeah, I just don't want to. Okay, so now this has water inside of it. So you see how it has water in. So now that we have more water, when we stick this in, we can kind of fully submerge it in the water. You see that? Yeah, okay, so then we're gonna hold. What I actually recommend is that you use this hand to hold this down so that when you pull, the whole thing doesn't come up. So then you can, this is actually getting complicated. Okay, so use your thumb and index finger of your left hand to hold that down and kind of secure it. And then you can use your other hand to pull up on this part. And as you can see, while you do that, it will start to suck up water. So I'll show you that now it is full of water. We can get even more. One other thing that you want to make sure that you do with this one is that you don't want to take the entire thing out how we were doing before. or else you'll get water everywhere. So I'm not going to demonstrate that because I don't want to get water everywhere. Okay, but now that we have this thing full of water, if you see the liquid, how it jiggles there, so that's how you know there's water inside. So then we can do that thumb on here and our other two fingers here, and we can just put the water right back in. See that? So that was a lot more water than the other times this happened. Okay. Do you think you get this now? Do you think you could do it by yourself? Okay. So one other thing I'm just gonna show. So when we have this at the end and it's all full of water, if you were to keep going, then all of the water would be able to come out. So that was a little bit right there. But so that's why we don't want it to come all the way out. So we just want it to come a little bit, like all the way till here would be the maximum. So it's kind of as far as you can reach probably. And then it would make a lovely, lovely, lovely sound, but you would also have water all over. So that's that device. And then we're gonna go over this one, which is quite similar. So it's still it's like a dropper, so we're sucking up water into this little tube here. It measures it for you too. So you have 0.25 milliliters, 0.5 milliliters, 0.75 milliliters, and 1 milliliter. So we're not gonna go, whoa, I just dumped the water on the bed. I just dumped water. Hold on. Okay, so as I just demonstrated, this can get quite dangerous. So we're all just gonna learn this together here first. I'm just gonna have you watch first. So that was a demonstration of what not to do. If you do take the lid off, which we're not gonna go over that part quite yet, but if you did have the lid off, then you do not want to dump the thing upside down, or else the water will come out. So that's just a warning for you there. So we were just talking about this part, which is the dropper. So it has numbers on here. We're not going to worry about the numbers quite yet. We'll get there one day, but not today. So this little orange part on the top here, it kind of looks like an earplug. So you do not know what earplugs. Okay, that's okay. We'll get there too. So this thing, you can squish it. It's quite satisfying to squish, actually. If you see squishing, actually, let's go over that. So squishing is this. You're going to have two of your fingers and you're going to sort of press them together. So we learned the press, which is just applying force. So now you're going to apply two forces and you're going to apply them against each other. So it'll be squishing them like that. Okay, so you can practice that a couple times. Yeah, okay. So now, when we squish these together, we are going to now put this inside of the water. And it's not going to work, as you can see. So you have to place it inside of the water and then you have to squish. I just learned how to use this like 5 seconds ago. And it was working. Oh, it worked that time. I don't know why it worked that time. I just did the same thing. See, we're learning together. Okay, I put it in here and then I squish this part. And then you wait a little bit. And then okay. See how all those bubbles came? I think I just need to wait a little longer. I think I was being impatient. Okay, and then to get the water out, you're just going to squish it and it'll come back out. Okay, let's try it one more time. We're learning, right? Okay, so we're gonna squish the water while it's inside of here. Oh, you see the bubbles, and then we're gonna, and that time we actually got it filled up all the way. So you see that water is filled all the way up to that 1 milliliter, and then we're gonna drop it back out. So you see that coming out there. Awesome. Okay. We're doing well. Okay, one more time. One more practice for me, and then we'll practice for you, okay? We'll put it in here. Squish. You can see the bubbles moving. And then we bring it up, and it's all filled up. Okay. And then we are going to drop it back out. Okay, are you ready to try? I won't put the lid back on so you can do it, okay? Yeah. Good. Okay, and then drop the water back in. Nice. Okay, you're better than me already. Okay, so we'll put that back on. We'll put this lid back on. We'll go over the lid putting on this jar because I think it'll be easier. It's just a little bit bigger. So it's like an easier visual. So I didn't fully clean up the water, so I'm just still like, kind of, it's not a puddle, but I cleaned up the puddle. Okay, so this is the lid portion of the container, and then this is the container portion. So as you can see, the water is actually contained within this bottom portion, which is why that part's called the container, and this part is called the lid because you are putting it on top of the thing. So same thing with this. This part would be the lid, and this part would be, you're right, the container. One more just to go over this part. Now this is a giant container. This part would be the container portion. This part, the part that twists off, would be called the lid. Okay, so that twist, I actually demonstrated, is going to be similar to how we take off this lid. So you're gonna grab your hand, whichever hand you want. Actually, both hands. One of them is gonna be on the bottom. One of them is gonna be on the top. You want it to just be on the lid part, not on the whole part of the container, because if you're on the whole part of the container, you won't be able to get it off. Okay, so you're just on the lid. So this one's quite handy. It has a different colored lid, so you can tell where the difference is. So here, we're gonna grab our hand right there, and then you are going to twist your hand. But what you want is that your hand isn't going to slide. Your hand is actually going to press kind of each one of your fingers. So now instead of pressing just 2, we're going to press all 5 into this lid, and we're going to rotate. Okay? You might have noticed how right there my knuckles kind of collapse. That can kind of be easier. Instead of rotating it like this, to rotate it like this, it just gives you a bit more grip. So that's personally, look, what I like to do is usually I grip it like this. So you might want your knuckles kind of to collapse like that, and then you can kind of press and twist. So for twisting generally, I think on almost every single container, you are going to twist to the left. So I'll just put it back on to demonstrate one more time. So you're going to twist to the left or counterclockwise. You've learned the clock, right? Okay, so we're going to go counterclockwise, and then eventually your lid, you'll just be able to lift it up. So one more time, we'll demonstrate. So as I twist it this way, right now, oh, there, I can already get out of the whole time. As I twist it this way, sometimes it'll still be stuck on, so you can kind of try pulling it up. Sometimes it'll still be stuck on, but if I keep twisting, eventually I'll be able to just pick it up. Right, so one more time, I'll just show you. Okay, and then now I might be getting a little ahead of myself, but putting this lid back on is more difficult than taking it off. Taking it off, you just twist. Well, it depends. Sometimes it can get stuck. So putting it back on, you're gonna generally want to line it up. You might have to jiggle it a little. So right here, for example, because it's not straight on the top, it won't. Even if I twisted it like that, it wouldn't go on. So it wants to straighten it out. Sometimes the container kind of does it on its own. Sometimes you'll have to figure that out. This one seems to like just being flat on its own. So you're gonna put the lid on, and then you'll notice how the lid just comes off. So what we want is for when we pull up on the lid, for it to not come off with the twisting one. So we're gonna twist this direction. So opposite of what we did before. So this will be to the right, or you could think of this as clockwise, so the way that the hands go on the clock. So you're gonna twist it that way, and then now when I pull up on this lid, it doesn't come off. So that, and then I pull up and it comes off. Put it back on, twist, and now it doesn't come off. See? And then when I dump this upside down, now the water doesn't fall out. Whereas if I were to dump it upside down with the lid off, the water would come out. Once again, I won't demonstrate because I think you already saw that example previously. So with this container. So I hope that all makes sense. Is there any questions? Yeah. Okay. So for this, I like to use kind of all of my fingers. You don't need to use them all. So like my pinky sometimes will come off at the edge, so it's sort of personal preference. You could also not really use your fingers at all, but you could kind of grip it like this, so you could have more force like that as well if you have your hand sort of on top. And that, in that case, I'm only using 3 fingers, right? So you don't need all of your fingers, you just need enough. So if you only have 2, it might be a little more difficult, and you can't really do it with 1. You kind of can do it with 1 if you kind of pinch the lid in between right there. Yeah, so that's the only thing there. I'll actually go over one more kind of lid here. Is actually this is my lip balm. So this kind of lid, it actually doesn't have a twist at all. So you can just pull this one up and place it back on. So some lids, you don't need to do the twist at all. So this one, it just goes up and down. And you can also do this with one hand. This is how I usually do it, as with my thumb and index finger. You can just kind of pull it up, and this one is nice because you can just put it on and then you can put it back on. So that's like a very complex motion, but we'll get to that one day. So you're taking the lid off and putting it back on, taking the lid off, putting it back on. So we'll get to that one day, but I just wanted to show you that and get you prepared for what we're going to see. What do you think we need to go over next? Should we go over pens? Okay. Or do you want to measure first? Let's measure first. Okay. So this is a measuring tape. So basically, you'll see that there are numbers on either side of this, and I actually have the wrong side. You'll see there are numbers on either side of this. So this says 1 here. This is number 2, and then number 3, and then number 4, and they're always, the numbers are going to go in order from 1 until whatever the last number is. So this, for example, the last number on this one is 60. And then on the other side, this is where it gets tricky, the other side, there's actually centimeters. So it has 1, 2, 3, 4, but all of the numbers are closer together on that side. And that side goes all the way up to number 150. So there's 150 of these segments on this piece. And then on the other side, here, there is, I forgot how many, there is 60 segments of this size on the other side. So this segment here, from here till here, that is an inch. From here till here is another inch. From here till here is another inch. So the big line that kind of goes down, that's going to be where the number switches. All of these tiny little lines are just to kind of further divide the units. So just so that you can see, so there's 10 of the small lines usually in between. Actually, that's on the centimeters. There's 10. So there's 10 lines in between each of the centimeters. On the inches, I'm actually not sure how many lines it is. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, so in between the inches, we have 16 lines. So that's just dividing it further. So we won't worry about that quite yet. We're just going to focus on the big units for now. Okay. So the use of this device is that basically and I'll actually show you, I'll demonstrate on this pen just so you get used to seeing it. I'll demonstrate on this pen. Okay, so we're going to go from one end and you want to line it up. So this is to determine how long an object is. So you're going to line this portion of the pen up with this first line here. So that is where the inch starts. So you don't want to put the pen all the way till here, because this is not part of that inch. So you want to line it up just with this big line to start, and then you would line the whole measuring device up with that pen. So that is lined up with this line on this side, and then on the other side, and you have to make sure you don't let go, because if you let go, you will lose your measurement. Okay, so here, then we check over on this side where the pen hits. So that this is the number 6. So this pen is about 5.5 inches long. The way that you can figure that out is that between 5 and 6, there's actually one that's kind of right in the middle. So one that's slightly longer. That line is about half. So we're not going to worry about getting an exact measurement, but just a rough idea of the measurement is going to be 5.5 right there. So that would be how you measure. So for example, I can measure this microphone. But I'm not going to. I'm going to measure something bigger because I want us to get used to using the big numbers. What can I measure that's big? Maybe I measure this book, okay? Because I want to get it bigger, and we're going to we're going to use centimeters this time. So this is inches and this is centimeters. So we're going to go and we're going to measure this book. So we're going to line this measuring device up here. We want that first line that's right there to be on the end here, and we you want this to be kind of straight across, so you can use this as our guide to making it line up straight. So we're going to put it a little bit down there so you can see how that's sort of parallel with this one above. And then we can check right here. So that's 20, and then this is just a little bit more than 20. See that? So that's like, I'd call that 21 inches right there. And I just need to, I messed up. There. Okay, so this, we have the big 20, and then that's 21 right there. So this is 21 centimeters long. So if we were to measure it with the other side, it would give us a measurement in inches. And honestly, I don't know who uses inches and who uses centimeters, because I feel like I use both, so I can't tell you that. But some people use different ones. So we line that line up here, and then over here, it's just a little bit more than 8 inches long. So those are two different ways of measuring. But ultimately, it doesn't really matter which you use, as long as you use the one that you like. So this is the measuring tape. Do you feel like you understand this now? The tape measuring tape. I don't actually know what this is called. Okay, I'm glad. Okay, do you think we could get to pens? We're really speed running at this point. Okay, so pen. There are two kinds of pens. So there's a clicky pen, and then there's a cap pen. So we'll talk about both. We'll talk about the clicky pen first, because it's kind of more of an intricate motion. So first, we're just gonna actually talk about just how to hold a pen. So right now I'm holding it just like this, but if we were, so the use of a pen is that you can write with it. So actually, I'll just get a piece of paper here. So here's a piece of paper. So what you would do is you would click the top, and then this thing on the other side would come out. So when I click the top, this goes in and out. So that, we'll talk about the clicking, but just for now, just so you know what it does, is that you could write on a piece of paper. Oh my gosh, this one doesn't work apparently. Okay, so hold on. So I have a pen now. This is the pen, the exact same pen. It's just a different pen. So, oh my god. Okay, this one does work. So what will happen is, as you press this onto the paper, it will make a color come out. So that's the goal here, is to be able to write on a piece of paper. So for now, we're just going to focus on the button clicking portion. So what you're going to do is, usually I like to use my thumb of the hand that I'm writing with. So you can kind of hold it however you want with your fingers. It doesn't really matter, but you just want your thumb to be on top of the button. And the reason that you can kind of tell it's a button is because it's the part that's sticking out, and it's the part that if you push on it, it will move. So, and it also makes a clicking sound, which is really quite nice. Okay, so that was a lot of demonstrations right in a row. So you're going to want to hold your thumb here, and then you will press it in. And as you press that side of the pen in, you will see a needle looking thing coming out, and then you want to let go. And when you let go, it'll pop out a little bit, but you see how that's shorter than it was before. So before, it looked like this, and now it looks like this. And now also on this end, you have a little pen portion sticking out. So now, if I were to move this on here, it would make ink come out, and that's actually what's inside of here. It is actually ink. So that's your pen can run out of ink. So when your pen is out of ink, that is why it won't work, which is what I was having issues with the other pen. So that was the clicking. I'll give you this to practice with, so you can just practice clicking that like over the other. So this pen is one of the most complex pens to ever exist. Okay, so all of this stuff going on inside, there's actually a maze inside of this pen. So we don't need to worry about the maze. The maze is just sort of like a fidget, right? So it's just something you can play with. There's these little tiny silver balls in there. Right here, there's one, and you can roll the pen, and they will move around inside of the maze. So those, most pens don't have those, but this one, what's different is you'll see if I click really hard, this comes off. This is called a lid, right? So this is the lid we talked about. So this was like how the lip balm, we just pulled. So we don't need to twist or do anything tricky on this one. It's just pull, and then it'll come up, and then you'll look and you see this needle thing. So this, I'll just pull this pen from you. So these kind of look the same now. So that's how you would make this pen work, is you don't need to click any buttons. You just need to pull this section off. That makes sense? Okay, awesome. Okay, next thing we're gonna actually go over is cards. So we're gonna speed run this one, okay? So I feel like your brain's warmed up now. So we're gonna really go quick on this one. So we don't need to worry about what's on the cards for now, but what we are gonna worry about is how to shuffle cards, okay? So there are a few different ways, but we're gonna go for the most basic form of shuffling today. So what I want you to do is have your hand out kind of like this, and I'll give you some cards actually so that you can practice as well. So you can just follow along. So here are some cards for you. Okay, so what we're gonna do is kind of place it on your left hand. Are you left-handed or right-handed? Okay, so place it on your dominant hand, or on your non-dominant hand. There you go. And then you are going to pick up just the back portion, so not all of them. So this is the front for now, and this is the back. So we're gonna pick up the cards that are at the back. You following? Yeah, okay, I can see. And then we're gonna place only some of the cards at the front. So this is the tricky part. So you're dropping not all of the cards, only some. You see that? So that's the trick. Oh my gosh, and you don't want to drop them all the way down. So you want to drop them only a little bit. So just kind of onto your hand there in front. So the goal here is that we're changing the order of the cards that they are in. So I'll show you up close here. So we're going to take the ones at the back. And the way you can kind of go about dropping these is you can even use your thumb here if you want to sort of bring them down. That could help you with that motion to start. But you kind of want to bring the fronts of your fingers. So this is a very tiny movement, but you're just kind of moving your hands just a tiniest of little bits out so that the cards at the front fall, but the ones at the back don't. So I'll give you some time to practice that one before next class, and then we can go over that together. Okay? But I just want you to start to get familiar with that concept, okay? Awesome. Okay, so we'll get started with that. I think you're good with the pen. I'll give you some stuff to practice with, okay, for before next. So here's the pen. You can keep it. I'll give you this bottle. Just don't drink the water. It's not water. It actually is water, but it's not water in the context of the video. Okay, and then do you want measuring tape as well? Okay, so I'll give you those for your practice. So I want you to try doing each one of those, like, if you try each one of them like 10 times in a row and you get it good, then you can move on to the next one. So I want you to get it 10 times good in a row, and then you can switch to the next one. So that will be your practice. Start with 5 times in a row for the first couple of days, and then after the first couple of days, go to 10 times in a row then. Sound good? Alrighty, I'm so proud of you for learning all of that. I'm proud of myself for learning all that, because especially like these, I was having some difficulty with, so I'm glad that we could learn all of those things together. Yay. Okay. I always start putting my stuff away before I'm actually done filming the video, as if I feel like that's annoying that I do that, but I do that, so I'm sorry. It's not like I'm trying to leave, but I actually am trying to leave because the reason I'm trying to end the video is because I only have like 2 minutes that I can film. 3, actually, 2 and a bit. But anyway, okay. I hope that you enjoyed the video. I actually really got into that. I feel like I went into teacher mode and I was just going, and I lost my brain. I actually wasn't thinking. I did not feel like I was filming right then. I just felt like I was doing putting on lids. I don't know. I really want to drink this water. I'm actually, while we're here, I'm going to dump this water back into my water bottle, just so you can get that sound. We're not going to go over that quite yet, because I know that was kind of complex. it really helps. Helps. But thank you for watching. And I'll see you